Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to the Timeless Podcast here today with Owen. This is sort of a follow-up to a kind of a prelude to a watch-along coming out soon. As me and Owen, obviously, in our last episode of these weird Doctor Who reviews we do, obviously we deviated last time and we did the Doctor Who movie with Macaulay, but now we're back on the main series. Obviously, we did the Caretaker last time, but this time we had the Horns of Nimon, which we know had never seen. It was one of those rare occasions. So we thought we'd do a watch along, we get drunk with it, and the drunk watch along version is going to be coming out on the Friday. This comes out on the Monday, so you got to wait a few days to see all the hilarity that ensues from the watch along. And the reason I'm releasing the review first is because essentially during the watch along we didn't really review it; we were just laughing the whole time. So
Basically.
we can't really just post that, and also I can't post a watch along to YouTube because the BBC will strike me down because of the footage being on the screen. So we have to do it this way. But Owen, first of all, how are you doing? Obviously, we're in your kitchen. You've got some nice fridge magnets there.
Yeah, not too bad. All good in the hood.
Yeah, it's all
You
good in the
might have
hood.
noticed I've got a haircut.
Yeah, he's got a haircut. Yeah,
Yeah.
he did it just for this podcast. That's exactly the reason he did it. Um, but
No, I
yeah,
just needed it because I had just like too much hair. It was like wearing a hat. Either that or I look like a grebo. For those who don't know what a grebo is, it's like one of those um, greasers or bikers or just affiliate someone with long hair.
yeah, but
Someone who might be a bit of a rebel.
I'm liking the new look. I'm liking the new look. Obviously, as well, since we last had you on the show, you have been vaccinated against
I have.
the dreaded virus. I think you were vaccinated before the watch long, but I don't think you've been vaccinated actually on an episode. No, you haven't been vaccinated
No,
for the
well,
watch long.
it was after the watch along.
Yeah. So this is the first time you recorded something else, also being protected by or from COVID-19.
With the AstraZeneca.
Yes, which has now been banned for under 30s. So you're lucky
Yeah.
you got well, you did. So you might be
Let's
fucked,
just hope I
actually.
don't get blood clots.
Yeah, that's the hope. I had the Pfizer one, so I'm all safe. So yeah, if Owen dies, it's not my fault. Um,
Yeah, blame old AstraZeneca.
yeah, of course, it's the UK one that kills all the UK people. That's how it
Of
works.
course.
But yes, Owen, what have you been up to? How is the Who shop? Obviously, you ended what your last appearance on there with Peace and Love. And obviously
I did.
Alex did the last update video. But
hmm
any cool things going on in the shop at the minute?
Um, well, there's nothing new in at the moment, but it's just, just typical. I hear things in pipelines, and this may happen, that might happen. It might take some time, and it's like, oh, just hurry up already. We want
Uh,
these things to sell.
that cookie making thing looked hell to put back. Like it was a nice set, but
Hmm.
I like you had a you had trouble managing to put it all back in, right?
Yeah, I mean, it probably isn't just the thing that, it's difficult to put it back in the packaging. It's just me being awkward, because I was trying to put it back in the tin the way I found it. It wasn't going very well. So in the end, I just literally just place it all on top of each other, stuff it in, shut the lid, and it was done. So, you can close it, but it just like both the cutters, the way I found them side by side in the tin, they wouldn't fit next to each other. But hey ho, never mind. Um, don't let it put you off buying it though.
Yeah, no, it looks like when I buy it for the apron alone, to be honest. Not that I'd ever need an apron, but
It's a really cool set.
it's a really cool set. Also, it's not too expensive either because I thought something like that might be like £40. I suppose it's only 25, isn't it? I think did you say 25? It's very reasonable for
No, it's 1999.
even better. Look at that. He knows all the even, but yeah, it's worth it. I mean, because if you think about it, if they released the apron separately, I mean, the company that makes it, they probably could sell that for 99 on its own. So you get a nice little
Mm.
box. You get the
There's
cutters.
two there's two other sets coming out at some point as well. I know one's in a yellow tin and one is in a blue. Hang on, what was one that just come out? It was the green one, wasn't it? So the next one will be the yellow one, I think, and then the blue one after that, or vice versa, something like that.
Yeah, it's one of those two things. But yeah, a lot
Yeah.
of good stuff at the Who Shop. Obviously, new Target books as well, and obviously you've got a vast array of old Target books as well, which
Yeah.
is
I
very
mean,
good.
obviously, you can't, just mention, the new ones because, there's going to be people out there who will want to collect, some of the old ones, or maybe they used to collect them at the time and have gaps in their collection. So, it was always worth mentioning that just to let people know we've got those.
Got those, yeah, and obviously the good news is
And the thing
especially.
is with those, I mean, we've got those like from factory condition. They're still in their boxes that they came from the factory in. It's amazing. So a lot of them are in
Very,
immaculate
very,
condition.
very, very good care taken at the Who Shop.
Oh yes.
Yes. Also very good news, obviously, with the way way of the UK, Phantom can go ahead at the end of the month. I mean, obviously,
Yep.
and there's no point really advertising that event because it's all sold out now anyway. So they've done their job very well. But
Hmm.
we might meet each other. I don't know whether there'll be any crossover because obviously you have to get there late. I have to leave early, so we might bump into each other very briefly and we'll be like, "Hello, mate," and then that's it. We don't know, but all exciting stuff. Right? Should we get on to the thing that I genuinely can't remember what really happens apart from a few little bits?
Uh, yeah.
The issue with getting incredibly drunk watching something for the first time is that you don't really remember anything that happened. And we did this watch along like maybe a month ago.
Something like that. Yeah.
It's yeah, so it's not. It's like when you watch the watch along, like, yeah, that's an old watch along. But Owen and I's schedules has been so hectic, we haven't been able to get any crossover um lately. But can you try and tell the audience what happens in the Horns of Nimon if you can?
Well, vaguely from memory, the Doctor and it's Leader in the story, isn't it? Or no, hang on, no, I'm wrong. It's Romana. Romana too. Lala Ward. They end up, I don't know, bumping into a ship,
Let's just go with that. Something happens.
and
It's
then
very
they end up sort of they go from the TARDIS down this sort of invisible corridor into the ship, um, to then find that the place is kind of deserted. Um, and then you've got one guy who's sort of manning the place, and then he's got these poor people locked up, and all he does is call them weakling scum,
I knew that was
which is my
you.
new, which will be
You
my new phrase for people now. Yeah, Alex Stephen, weakling scum.
just he will not be saying that whilst representing the Who Shop though. He can't go to a really rubbish customer and call them weakling
No,
scum,
no, 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 no. That would be unprofessional.
which is one thing you are definitely not. You are many things, Owen, but unprofessional is not one of them.
I mean, there's the whole thing, of telephone manner. If someone phones up, and I have a, completely professional voice. And then when it's someone I
Yeah,
know, it's like, oh, you're right, mate.
mucker. I feel like you said the word mucker. Yeah, you're from that neck of the woods.
Yeah, and then sometime after that, Lala, Romana, and the Doctor, and I think K9. Actually, no, I think one of them, either Romana or the Doctor, get K9 later. But they end up going through this sort of, I don't know, it's like an invisible wall or something like that into a different part of the ship. Um, and you've got that guy. What was his name?
I,
You said his name earlier.
oh, Soldeed.
Sordid, yeah. Um, and oh,
He does some shit.
he does.
I can't tell you what he does. He likes to kill a bunch of people, I think.
I mean, I'm having trouble remembering myself. I'm tempted to watch it again just to refresh my memory, but do I really want to? Uh, um, yeah, I know you sort of like kind of over dramatic, um, and I think there is a certain phrase somewhere that he keeps repeating that's probably quite famous. And then you've got hang on, he serves the Nimon, doesn't he?
Yeah, he
That's
serves
right.
the Nimon. He has to go to. I'm trying to remember myself because when you asked the question, I have like images in my head, right? Of I'm looking on my phone to try and like get this stuff up. But
Right,
yeah,
yeah,
yeah. But yeah, no, I think he does serve the Nimon. He's like, great, excellent Nimon, and then this Nimon turns around. And he's like, fuck off, Saldeed, you little shit.
yeah,
I think that's
yeah. And
what
it's like
happens.
everything that he does to, sort of, work for the Nimons and um, yeah, and it's like they just sort of like walk all over him and I think that no one else is supposed to be there, are they? Otherwise, they would get sort of like sacrificed to the
Yeah, like
Nimons. I'm trying to think what else happens.
yeah, it's like the Doctor and Romana get there, and they're like, you must be sacrificed.
Yeah,
Um, yeah, the Doctor and Romana are set to be sacrificed. The Doctor's obviously like, no, fuck off, eat jelly babies, and then he doesn't get sacrificed. That's
yeah,
kind of the story, and then the Nimons get in it. They end up killing Soul Deed because he's incompetent anyway, and they're like,
yeah.
we are the Nimons, we're good. That's it. On an actual level, though, Owen, and I obviously can't remember much of it, but did you actually enjoy the story? Apart from the out, without drinking, would you enjoy the story? Essentially,
Um, I don't know, maybe. I mean, to be honest, I mean the story's a good laugh to watch. I
yeah,
mean it's not amazing, um, but it's okay. I just see it as a bit of fun. It's enjoyable in some ways, um, and yeah, all the sort of like over dramatic stuff. It's a laugh.
it's sort of one of those stories.
I'm sure he went to RADA.
Yeah, it's one of those stories that yeah, it went, it won every award. Um, the Horns of Nimon. Where's the Oscar? Where's the
Yes.
BAFTA?
How many Nimon have you seen today?
None, thankfully. Yeah, I don't know whether I'd enjoy this one, but then again, I'm a bit more of a cynic. I think it's kind of my massive problems with the early or the late Tom Baker era is that a lot of stories just don't make sense, or they're just
Mm,
rehashes of other stories that have already been done.
yeah,
And I think, like, obviously, it's a fun meme story because there's a lot of weird shit in it. Like, the Weakling scum, Soul Deed is like just a meme in itself. The Nimon look ridiculous.
yeah.
Like, it's not entirely bad. Like, it's watchable. There is definitely worse classic stories
I
out there.
would certainly say it's my least favourite story from that season. Um,
Yeah, because that's season
Although
17,
I've
right?
never seen Nightmare of Eden, which I believe
Neither
is
have I. Neither
just
have I.
after that
I don't know, but
or
neither have
just
I.
before it.
Yep.
Because it's something like it starts off with Destiny of the Daleks, followed up with City of Death, and then I think it's Creature from the Pit.
Never seen that either.
Um, and then Creature from the Pit is okay. That's got Jeffrey Bayldon, who was in Wurzel Gummidge as the Crowman. He was also the infamous Cat Weasel. He's done quite a fair bit. Um, and also, oh, what's her name? She passed away, I think just last week. Um, Bear with me a second. Creature from the Pit. And people probably, screaming at the podcast right now saying, "Is this person for?" But I'm not very good at remembering names. Okay, yeah. So Myra Francis, who plays Lady Adrasta, and yeah, she passed away last week, so she's in this story as well in Creature from the Pit.
Yeah,
Um,
I think
and
the
there's some,
yeah, I think the issue with this season as a whole is that essentially they spent their budget on City of Death, and then they went,
yeah.
ah,
I mean, there's
right.
this that
So we,
very disturbing looking alien when you first see it, and all you can see is what just looks like this massive penis waggling down this tunnel.
Oh, we haven't it. We
That's
have
what
it.
it looks
Yeah.
like. And then suddenly the doctor's trying to talk into the end of it. Yeah, it, it just looks all kind of wrong.
Yeah.
But apart from that, it's an okay story. Lady Adastra, she's a bit of a bitch towards the alien,
Oh, poor alien man.
and the poor what's his name, Organon, played by Jeffrey Belden, um, is kind of stuck in the pit with the creature, and yeah, I think even he gets treated like crap as well. If memory serves
Everybody's
me
just
right.
getting treated like shit in Creature of the Pit. I mean, what's going on
Yeah,
here? Doesn't seem like the nicest story.
yeah.
But
But I think
yeah,
the better ones from that series of Destiny, City of Death, um, and even though it was never completed, Sharda,
yeah,
because
Sharda. Yeah,
since they done the animation and got all the cast back to do all the voices, and then they've completed it, released it onto DVD. I think they did an absolute fantastic job of that, and it's one of my new favourites of season 17. Yeah,
17. Yeah,
17.
17.
Even though people don't class it as season 17, it is in effect.
Yeah, no, it
They
has to be.
just didn't complete it.
It has to be. It can't be on its own. I mean, it's a story. But yeah, no,
Exactly.
I think that's just it's season 17's biggest problem. I think Horns of Nimon is kind of a big reason for that is that they essentially had one really good story where they were like, right, we're gonna go to Paris, we give it everything we got, and the rest of it, they just went, oh, we'll do five of the stories that maybe aren't as spectacular. I mean,
Mm,
Destiny is fine. This is fine, I suppose, but you can tell that it just feels like they aren't trying.
mm,
I think is my big problem. Um, yeah, so it's a weird, tricky mesh of a bunch of nothingness, really. I mean, if you were to explain the story without like saying the word Nymon, this could be another Doctor Who story. This doesn't, it's not
oh yeah.
individual, this the creative team here were just like, right, we need to do a really basic Doctor Who story. The Doctor and the companion get stuck on a ship, then they get taken somewhere else. And then they're getting overthrown. They're going to get killed by the rulers of this place, but they're going to escape. And it turns out there is another being who is actually in charge. Like it's been done.
It has.
I think the reason this one survives the longest is just down to its major ability to be a meme in the modern day aspect, I suppose. I think that's what, especially with our good friend Adam, things like that. I don't know whether he is just a massive fan or whether it's because of that meme quality that he really
Yeah.
enjoys the story. But I think there are funnier Doctor Who stories. I think ones that are actually trying to be slightly funny. Whereas this,
Yeah.
I think the issue with this is it's mostly trying to be serious. I think there's especially some very good Tom Baker episodes where Tom Baker knows the actual story is a bit ludicrous, so his performance will go to that side where he knows he can ham it up a bit more. I just don't remember him being that very much in the story.
Yeah.
And I feel like it's just a bit boring. The fact that part one is just them on the ship, and literally they pad it out by this guy going back and forth 3 or 4 times to tell these poor people weekly. It's like
Yeah.
we can tell you're padding out the story.
Yeah. So
But
it's literally just like the first episode you could just do away with because like it's just really slow and not really much happens.
yeah,
Which I
exactly.
do remember that much.
Exactly. So I think. Oh, by the way, to everyone, the reason this podcast is going to be so short because we're only at 20 minutes, so we're going to be close to wrapping up, is because this is essentially half a podcast, and the reaction is the other half of the podcast. So
Yeah.
we don't want to be sat here talking for an hour and a half about Haunt of Nimon because we would,
Yeah. Especially when we can't remember half of it because we
yeah.
were too busy getting drunk whilst watching it and
Um,
drinking every time we heard the
But
word Nymon.
but we will be
Which was a
picking up.
lot.
We will be picking out a new episode because I can't remember which one we chose. I think it was God Complex, but I don't know whether I just made it up.
Yes, it was.
So we will be picking a new episode at the end of this because I think it's much better to pick it at the end.
Crazy.
And I think it's much better to pick it at the end of the podcast. So it could be God Complex again, but it might not be God
Praise
Complex.
him.
Praise him. Yes, indeed. And by praise him,
You did your randomizer and it came up God complex.
well,
Very, very nice.
we're gonna redo it in the actual podcast episode, just in case people don't want to listen to an hour and a half of us talking about Horns of Nimon, which I would understand entirely. Do you think that's fair?
Yeah.
I understand for those
I
that
mean, to be honest, if I don't like whatever comes up in it, we can always just do God complex.
No, we are doing whatever comes up within the randomizer. Okay, Owen, any other closing thoughts, or do you want to give this a ranking out of 10?
How many Nimons have I seen today?
Not nearly enough.
Um, I mean, I would say 3, but I mean, to be honest, it was a bit more enjoyable than I expected. So yeah, I'll be a little bit more generous. I'll say 5 out of 10.
I'm gonna go for. I was also gonna go down the middle and say 5. Only because again of that meme factor and that there are some funny moments where, and if something's funny, it's entertaining. I mean, it's not the thing they were going for, which is why it's not good, but it's entertaining in its own way for the opposite purposes of what they were trying to make. But yeah. So Owen, what? Okay, we've got the God Complex was last on the randomizer, but it doesn't count. What Doctor do you think we're gonna get?
Oh, I think 7th Doctor. We haven't done a 7th Doctor.
We haven't
yet.
done a 7th. Have we done a 7th? We did Battlefield on the podcast. So that's all we've done so far of the 7th Doctor.
Did we?
No, I did it. I've done it, not you.
Oh, you did
You
it.
weren't there.
Okay.
That's where the Brigadier Bambera stuff started. That's where Kieran originally.
Oh yeah.
That's where all that started. Was in
Right.
Brigadier Bambera.
Brigadier Bambera.
So
Oh,
yes.
shame.
Right.
Maybe a bit of I don't know, Silver Nemesis.
Okay, right. I know what we're reviewing.
Go on then.
It stayed with the 11th Doctor.
Okay.
And it's also series 6, but it's not the God Complex.
Okay.
Well, it's a single.
It's a single, right? Okay. Well, that's good because I don't like Rebel Flesh.
I don't like Rebel Flesh either, so I'm also happy it's not Rebel Flesh.
Yeah, I don't like that too far, so that's good. So that means it's also not
Day of the Moon.
The first 2-parter.
And that's it. That's the only 2 parts. And there's none in the back half.
So I would probably say Curse of the Black Spot.
Yeah, that's correct. Yeah. Well, we'll find out. I enjoy it too.
I've heard some people slate it, but I actually really enjoy it.
I think it's a lot of fun. So, and that's what Doctor Who should be to me. It's a lot of fun. So yeah, me and Owen will see you again. But there's going to be a few episodes of Owen because he's also very soon. We are reviewing the next in the Marvel series with him, with Doctor Strange. So we have to watch that again. I feel sorry for Owen, who's got to rewatch Doctor Strange again in such quick.
Oh, I don't mind rewatching Doctor Strange. I mean, I thoroughly enjoy it.
So that will also be the next episode as well. So Owen, within the next week, we also have to come back and film an actual podcast on Doctor Strange, and then we'll be good again for a bit. And then I think John's back with Guardians of the Galaxy after that. So there's a lot of people, sort of things going on. But also, I do want to just dedicate this podcast to Paul Ritter, who, when we were recording this, died yesterday. Me and Owen are massive Friday Night Dinner fans. We say shalom, shit on it, or we say all that kind of stuff. We reference it in everyday Zooms, and it's a shame when you see something like that for it to happen to anyone. But at such a young age as well. Just thoughts with his family, friends, people that knew him, even his fans. Just a massive shame.
Shit on it.
Yes, I think that was everybody's collective. I think that was everybody's collective thought when they read that. It was just like, oh no, shit on that. No. They're like, bugger off. Yeah. Oh man. It's horrible. At least I think you can take, and this is a weird thing to say, but you can take solace in the fact that at least he got to do the end of Friday Night Dinner. He got to complete that chapter of his career, or that, for the sounds
I
of
just
it.
wonder if they ended it because they knew that
That's what
he was.
everyone's been saying, but I don't know, because you feel
Yeah,
like that something like that would have leaked, right? I feel like he must have
yeah.
kept it
Maybe
incredibly
they
tight.
just thought, hey,
Maybe. But thank you
no.
so much, Owen, for joining us on this podcast. We'll see you next week for
Always a
Dr.
pleasure.
Strange.
Looking forward to it.
Bye bye.